There we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Raven's Rabbit Hole. Greetings, all my fellow Earthlings. Had a last-minute link problem here, and oh, good. My guest made it backstage finally. All right, great. I'll bring her in just a moment. So, yes, hi, everybody. Welcome to Raven's Rabbit Hole. I'm Raven McMinn, if you don't know me. I'm your intrepid host. This is my Cosmic Rabbit Hole, and this is a place where we keep an open mind. We question everything. We walk on the wild side, down roads less traveled. And we always maintain a healthy sense of humor about it all, don't you know? If you are into ETs, UFOs, paranormal phenomena, metaphysics, parallel worlds, Mandela effects, crystals, quantum manifestation, Sasquatch, alternative history, interdimensionals, or if you're a tinfoil hat designer, then you are in the right place, my friend. But all are welcome here. I describe myself as having one foot firmly grounded in Mother Earth and in science, and the other foot out exploring the wooest of the woo-woo. But the intention of this program, even though it's listed under entertainment, I have to be careful because of the content that we talk about on this channel. So I couldn't put it under educational. I had to put it under entertainment. And I love to research things. That's my jam, and share the knowledge that I get. And so I try to bring on guests and have topics ready for you that will make you think, expand your awareness and your consciousness a little bit, and hopefully entertain you as we do so. I've got a wonderful guest waiting in the wings here for you tonight. And I'm going to start off with, first of all, I want to make a mention that I've got a slight problem with the internet that's coming into the house, and my provider can't get here until Friday. So there might be a little bit of lag on my end, and I ask you to please forgive me and just try to overlook that. But if you experience that, it's my system, not yours, most likely. But we'll have that remedied here by next week. So tonight we're going to talk about a whole series of different things that at first may seem segmented and different, but actually they all fit in and they all tie in with one another. And it's an interesting journey. I wanted to start tonight with a quote, and the quote is, "History is a set of lies agreed upon." This was spoken by Napoleon Bonaparte, and I think it sums up everything pretty well. My guest, who I'm getting ready to bring on right now, is a lady that I just adore. And the only person that I've ever met that's been down more rabbit holes than me. So I'm going to bring her in here if I can click the right button. And welcome Patty G. Patty Goslin.
Hi, Raven. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Listen, I think you've been down more rabbit holes than I have. But I'm catching up. Yeah. I'm really thrilled to be here. Thank you for asking me to be on.
Oh, I'm thrilled to have you here because you just know so much about all of this. And all these topics are relatively new to me, but you've been, as Pamela always says, boots on the ground, exploring this stuff. Yeah. Your community.
If it wasn't for Pamela introducing me to your radio show, I wouldn't be here right now. So thank you, Pamela.
Thank you, Pamela.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, awesome.
Hi, everybody in the chat. Hi.
Get over here to the chat. I've still got problem here. I still need my reading glasses for now until they can get my right contacts in.
I know I've got my glasses on, but they're reflecting and I can't do anything about it. They're supposed to be anti-reflective. I don't know. Who knows, right?
Who knows? Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of people in the chat. A lot in the chat.
I can't even find the chat again now.
Want me to read them?
Nope, got it now. All right. All right, we got it now. Okay. All right, there's Pamela. Hi, guys, she says. Hello. So, where would you like to start?
Well, the both of us have looked into a lot of different things over the last several years. I know I really got heavily into it about 4.5 years ago, when I started watching stuff about Tartaria and what was called the documentary, The Tartarian Meltdown by Joachim Sacker. And I was fascinated by it because he talked about buildings being melted and destroyed. And, the old buildings, like we still see lots of them in every city, all over the world, we still have them. But he talked about them being destroyed somehow or partially destroyed. And why was that? And basically what he said was that a huge part of those buildings is still intact underground. All right. There's mud flood all over the place. We know something about the mud floods, that something happened to cause all of this, a type of a cataclysm, a reset, a cataclysm.
Mm-hmm.
What we think in the meltology community is that it probably happened about 250 years ago, maybe 300 years ago. But there's things lately that I've been watching and reading about, different books and stuff, that it may actually point back to, and I think you know this too, back to right around 1776. So
yeah.
Who knows?
It has. I've got some notes here specifically about 1776. And it's just, I'm sure it's just a coincidence, people. It's just,
of course.
Right?
Yeah.
That 1776 has been hailed as the birth of freedom. It actually was the death of a civilization. So the Illuminati was founded in 1776 in Bavaria. The Rothschild banking empire began its global expansion. No coincidence there. The American Revolution broke out, and Tartaria began to disappear from maps, all in 1776, that year.
Right.
And from what we know of Tartaria had free energy, and it's interesting to note, as I was going through my research, they talked about Nikola Tesla, and that he's originally from Croatia, and that was part of a Tartarian territory over there. So was he really, coming up with this stuff off the top of his head, or was he trying to back engineer something he knew was already there and had been done, just massively covered up? But their massive architecture all incorporates sacred geometry. And I've got some pictures that I'm going to put up here for you guys to see some of the stuff. The intricacies of this, no way in hell's half acre were done with a little chisel and pick and hammer. There's just no.
Donkeys and carts. And donkeys and horses and carts. Right. Exactly.
They didn't even have 3D printers, or they didn't have even automobiles. There's just no way. The Tartarians lived in harmony with natural law. They knew how to use nature. What's interesting, like the Statue of Liberty is built upon what are called star forts. Those star forts were already there. The foundation, the base of it, it's in a star pattern.
Yeah,
it was already there.
Right.
And everybody's like, well, who built it? Well, no one knows, right? They had knowledge of the ether. This is a major one. That's like the fifth element, right? Fire, water, air, earth, and ether.
Right.
5. Okay, yeah. They also knew how to tame the weather. They knew also how to heal the body with sound vibration. So we'll go through each one of these other things here. But after Tartaria was scrubbed from the history books, all of that stuff, the free energy was replaced with the slavery by debt, maritime law, artificial scarcity, central banks, indoctrination through education. All I need to say is the AMA, right? And it's all funded by none other than the Rothschilds. No coincidence there either, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So, I kind of made a loose outline, but I'm going to let you talk and.
Oh, you're doing a great job. I'm agreeing with you 100%.
Which one you want to tackle? There's so many different things. There's these mud floods, and the meltology. You know more about that than me. I've done
extensive research. I started doing the meltology research on my own. I decided to just go down in my cellar was the first place I went. And I had an old farmhouse. It was built in the late 1700s, we think, right? At least that's as far back as I got when I researched it. And the bottom part was a dirt cellar, obviously, but the bottom part had all these huge boulders, and there were bricks. Some bricks were actually intertwined with some of the boulders. And I'm like, how did they do that? How did they get a brick inside there that it became part of that big rock? How's that possible? So when I started to learn about the meltology, I started doing investigating and doing my own boots on the ground. And there's a lot of evidence. Every place you go, there's evidence that something happened. Exactly what it was, we don't know. We call it meltology in that community. It's just something, what the cataclysm that happened, but was it a natural occurrence? I mean, did something all of a sudden come down and smash into the earth? Like they claim we had more than one sun. Did something happen? One of them went jamming into the earth, which would cause terrible, earthquakes and volcanic eruptions and liquefaction of the earth itself, where it turns to muck and mud and the water comes up. And it would cause flooding also because of that happening like that, which brings into the part about if there was a Noah's flood, there was something that happened. A lot of these buildings that are on seacoast, like if they're old Tartarian buildings, they go way down underneath. I mean, scuba divers will go down and say, what are these buildings, these parts of this building being underneath here, and these beautiful statues, and what happened? So if the flood did in fact happen, we'll call it Noah's flood for lack of a better name, okay? If Noah's flood happened, then I don't think the flooding has actually all receded yet, because a lot of those buildings, sometimes they'll see that it looks like, oh, you can see a little more's been exposed. So who knows? A lot of the starforts were all over the place, all over the world. There was starforts every place. A lot of the lighthouses seem to be there in conjunction with what's left of a starfort. Well, what happened to the buildings? Like okay, so let's say there's a cornerstone in a building. I like to call them like a con job, like a cornerstone. And it says on it 1885. I don't think it's 1885. And those cornerstones are all completely different than the rest of the structure.
Right.
So I think they were founded probably in that year. Okay. They were already there from the Tartarian Empire. So there's just so much stuff that's happened and that we've been lied to about. I don't know why all the lies. It's obviously to cover things up that they don't want us to know about. So when this cataclysm occurred, was it from something that hit the earth? Or was it actually from, it could be a weapon of some type. By whom? I mean, there's always talk about the aliens or the reptilians or the elitists. Who did this? Who's responsible for all of this? We don't know, only because none of us were alive then to prove anything.
Right.
So all this stuff is theoretical stuff. What I don't like is that in any community that you go to, a meltology, the mud flood community, anybody that's doing any investigating work, when they start knocking other people, even own people in their groups, because they'll say, oh, everything is, a melted structure. And that's the mountain over there, but it was really a building at one time. But it looks like a tree stump to me, like a humongous tree stump.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I think there was huge trees. I do. I think that some of them are remnants of trees, and the rest are probably something that was melted or catastrophically destroyed with a weapon or whatever. Okay. But that's my opinion. And if somebody brings information to me that they say, geez, it looks like we could prove that this was the case instead, I'm willing to change my mind.
Me too.
Absolutely.
Me too. Always keep an open mind, especially.
This is correct. This is correct. I don't think anybody should be knocking anybody's research either. That's a biggie with me. I don't go for that at all.
Yeah, I see that a lot in Facebook under some of these groups. They, somebody's post something and they tear apart, and we don't get anywhere that way.
Right.
You're welcome to disagree. That's fine, but I don't throw all that out. I've seen evidence of this meltology since I became aware of it just in this last year. And I found some stuff digging out here just at my house, and I had some bricks that are all they have obviously been melted.
Yeah.
And we've got evidence of some of the castles and some of the forts over there in Europe that have melted. And so it's got to be something super hot. The only thing, and they call it vitrification.
Hmm.
The only thing they know of that will melt rock like that, and or brick, of course, is something nuclear.
A dual weapon. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
That was part of the reason when I started doing research online. It was during the time of the last, well, of the, pandemic. And I started doing a lot of stuff online like everybody else. That's how I got into this research thing. And that was one of the things that really caught my eye was how two buildings could be destroyed the way that they were. And
Yeah.
powdery substances that remained after, not melted steel and etc. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what really kind of got me
Pulverize the
interested.
dust. I mean,
Yeah,
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 we don't know of anything that'll do that. So
that's right. Yeah.
love the military industrial complex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think 9/11 woke a lot of people up. And once you, okay, so for me, it was devastating. I
Mhm.
mean, for 3 days, I stayed in my bathrobe, and I only left the house after the 3 days just because I ran out of cat food and cigarettes. Okay,
Yeah.
I was so just devastated. I'm like that my
Mm.
country would do something like that, be
Right.
involved in something like that, and then it was like, okay, well, what else don't I know? And
Hmm.
then that just threw me into the throes of all these rabbit holes,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was really really shocking, and there's a lot of people that are just now starting to wake up, and they're kind of going through that. What's the point of what's the point of going to work today? What's the point of this? What's the
Right.
point of that?
It can be
What?
very, very overwhelming, right?
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
overwhelming. There's been times where I've stepped away from all of it. I think I told you one other time that a lot of times I'll just decide, okay, I've had enough of this. I have to do something different, and I'll binge watch something on Netflix, a series or something, just for a change of mind, because it's very overwhelming at times and very shocking to a lot of people.
It
Very
is.
shocking.
It is. Welcome, Nathan. How you doing? Nathan of the Quantum Show is here. How you doing?
Hello, everybody in chat. There's a lot of
Yes.
people in chat.
Yes, I'm trying to get caught up here and keep talking, and it's multitasking that I'm something good at. So, um, the one of the other things that really got me, these world's fairs. We
Mhm.
had one, Chicago. If you look at this stuff, and I've got a video y'all ought to check out that I'm going to post the link here in the chat room for you. It's the same one I sent you just a little while ago. I always find really good stuff like hours or just minutes even before a show. I don't know why that happens that
Yeah,
way.
I know. It's
Um,
unbelievable. Huh.
these here are all these beautiful marble buildings and statues and ornate decorative fountains and so forth. Chicago, San Francisco,
Yeah,
St. Louis, here where I am. And then they destroyed these buildings after the fair.
right.
And they said that, they were built in 2 years. There's no way in Sam hell that they were built in 2 years.
And the destruction in some of those pictures, if you look at them, the destruction actually looks like they were bombed. They weren't just taken down like with a crane or something. And I don't think they had adequate cranes and things to take those things down like that. Marble and these beautiful structures and everything. It looks like there's just like pieces of stuff sticking up. And if you look at some of the pictures close, it looks like it was bombed or something, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm. And George brings up a point here about the bell.
Oh, yeah.
Bells. I did a dive into the bells here recently, the
Yeah.
other day, and it started with Stalin over in Russia. They went after all the church bells that rang between. They measured them all first. First off, they measured them all. It was all very scientific, and
Mm.
this research is some good stuff. Um, so any bell that rang between 100 and 130 hertz, they were the first to go. And I mean, some of these bells they don't even know who made them because some of them were made prior to 1700. And
Mm.
I mean, these things weigh tons and they are absolutely
Huge.
humongous,
Yeah.
right? And the reason why they got rid of the bells is they did some studies into the human body and human behavior, and they noted that with the ringing of the bells, people were less likely to be fearful, suspicious, and and cooperative with the government. They would challenge the government. In other words, be in their right mind.
Mhm.
And you can't have a totalitarian type regime if you've got free thinkers. So that's why those bells were the first to go.
Mm,
And we have also at that same time kind of the rise of globally, but we call it big pharma here in the United States.
right.
So it became an imperative thing to get rid of these bells because we can't have healthy, free thinking people walking around because they're not controllable.
Mm,
And that's why they got rid of the bells. They melted them down. And the
mhm,
thing about the bells made from this unknown civilization, i.e., Tartaria,
mm,
is you could ring the bell and it would measure the hertz, say 111, for example. That 111 would stay true if you went out 10 feet, 30
right,
feet, 50 feet, 500 feet.
right.
It didn't change at all. And there was a very a special recipe for the amount of copper, the amount of silver, the amount of gold, and I think iron was the fourth ingredient. But
Mm,
there was a certain particular mixture, and that was closely guarded. And that information came from an older man that was interviewed, and he was a young boy at the time, and the bell master told him about all of this. I mean, it was a craft. The bell
right.
master was a position that wasn't. You're not just a bell ringer. I mean,
Mm,
there was a craft and an art to this, and a reason.
right.
As soon as those bells were taken out, people were fighting. They were at each other's throats. They were suspicious. They were fearful. They were argumentative. Lots of lawlessness broke out, and a lot of health problems surfaced.
Dis-ease. Exactly.
This,
Exactly. The
exactly.
bells, not only the bells, but in a lot of what we call cathedrals now, or the big, huge churches and all of that, which are remainder of Tartarian architecture, the cymatics in the windows had something to do, you know how all the beautiful designs are in those windows. That I think, had something to do also with sound healing. A lot of them look like they had something taken out of the front part of a church. You know how, like, where they would set up the altars afterwards, the religions would set their altars there. But there's something about that rounded front area that if there was something that they used, again, was it something maybe like a gong, even a bell gong,
Yeah.
something that would make beautiful sounds, healing sounds. If someone wasn't feeling well, that would probably be utilized to help them get out of their dis-ease. Okay. Not only that, most of those buildings had beautiful pipe organs.
Oh
And
yes.
all of those notes that would be played also did something, is all the different hertz of them. They all did something to keep the bodies in alignment, we think, right? And to help people feel well and balanced, etc. And there wasn't all that nonsense going on that started when they got rid of the bells, all the arguing and the disputes and everything else. So it all, I think, ties in, you know.
I got to play an church organ for a little while in my high school days, and
Mhm.
I tell you, when you're sitting at that thing and you hit a note, you feel it. It vibrates in your chest, and you
Yeah,
feel it through every cell of your body because the thing's so
exactly.
whoa, loud and powerful, and it's a really really unique experience. It
Yeah,
truly is.
exactly.
Yeah, cymatics are fascinating, and how the cathedrals they were. I'm having a hard time getting the pictures, doing a share screen on this. I'm much more familiar with doing it on Restream rather than StreamYard, which is what we're broadcasting on
It's
here.
more involved on this. I know that.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
just discovered that.
Yeah.
But I'll try to get some posted here in a minute. The central circular on the cathedrals in the front, they usually have a big stained glass
Those
circular.
windows, the cymatic windows with
Yeah.
all the different, yeah.
Yeah, it will indicate what frequency, what hertz it's
Mm,
at.
mm,
If you, for those that were privy to this information, they would say, okay, good. Well, this is at whatever 437. This is good for the heart. Or 432, I think it is for the
yeah.
heart, and whatever. Yeah, and so people then that were having heart problems would travel to that cathedral, make a pilgrimage there, and sit there in that church, and then come out healed or at least significantly better.
Right.
That, and we can't have that. That'll cut into all the profits at big pharma.
Exactly. Exactly.
I was in St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City.
Oh, I went there once too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you've been there. Isn't that a tremendously
Amazing.
awesome place?
Yeah.
And here's this beautiful cathedral in amongst all these modern buildings.
I
that are
know. The
ugly.
skyscrapers. Yeah.
Oh,
I know. I
It's
know.
a shameful thing, isn't it?
I know. It's strange though how they left certain buildings. That always made me wonder about that. But I think because of the control issue, what it ended up being was different denominations of religions organized, really I want to call it organized religions, ended up using those buildings for religious services or whatever, worship,
Yeah.
etc.
I
You
think a
know?
lot of them went to the Vatican, probably
Yeah.
the Vatican bomb.
Oh yeah, that's another whole story. That's another show.
Yeah, each one of these things could be a show.
Exactly.
When we were talking earlier today, um, you shared with me a personal story about we were talking about the orphan trains,
Yes.
and this is something I didn't know anything about until like a
Yeah.
week ago. Were the orphan trains
Yeah.
throughout the 1800s? All these children from Europe were shipped over here
Yeah.
to the United States. No papers, don't have any parentage listed. And they just loaded them up on trains and went to major cities, and people came and adopted them. And they
Yeah.
were,
Where
one
did they
lady
come
said,
from? Where did they come from? Now, my grandmother, my mother's mother, came from Poland, from the Austria Poland kind of border, and she came to this country. She was born in I don't remember if it's 1886 or 1888, but she came over as a young girl, and she had her younger sister with her. It was my mother, Catherine, and Rosalie, her sister. They came to this country and got jobs someplace in the factories or whatever. There was a lot of child labor stuff, so they both went to work someplace. But I used to always ask my mom. I say, "Ma, Babci in Polish is grandmother." I used to say, "What did Babci used to talk about when she came over? Why did she come over, just her and her sister? Where were her parents?" She said she couldn't remember, my grandmother couldn't remember anything about her parents. All she remembers is as a youngster working on a farm someplace. They were planting and growing vegetables, taking care of the vegetable garden, doing whatever the people that were in charge told the kids to do. There was a lot of children there, and they were always doing work out in the fields and stuff. And when she had the opportunity, they said they would sponsor her when she was old enough. I think she was 18 and Rosalie was 16. They were
sponsor
sponsored,
her.
yeah, to come to this country. So my mother never knew any of the background about her grandparents because my grandmother never knew them. She couldn't remember them. So what was this about? Of course, it's going to jump into, were they cloned? Who knows? We don't know. And how long ago did cloning start? I know there's a company, I'm sure there's several, but I know of one in Ontario. It's called Clonaid. Now, isn't that a strange name? Clonaid, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And there's several people that are in the public eye, musician type, younger people, rappers and that, and a few movie stars and stuff like that will say things about, oh, I'll have to go back there and have them clear my mind because something's not right with me.
I saw, yes.
And you look at them and you go, what are they talking about?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. There's been a few of them that have been in the public eye and videos or on YouTube and stuff. I've seen a few of them. And it's not a joke.
Grand was one of them.
Yeah, that's right. She's one of them. And she actually states, "Oh, I'm going to have to go back to whatever she said, the facility, and have them help me because I can't do such and such a thing, or I don't remember such and such a thing. I don't know." But what are they talking about? They're giving us little pieces to say, "Yeah, we've been, worked on. We're not who you think we are." So I don't know. I don't know what to think.
There's a video of all these babies. This is an actual video, and there's a whole table full, and they're just all over the place on there. Yeah. And there's about 5 or 6 nurses just grabbing them, taking them one by and just passing around. This girl that was talking about how her and her sister don't have any recollection of parents and grew up on this farm thing, that they were loaded in the back of a truck and they were being handed out like puppies.
Wow.
The people that were coming up, and they got separated and they later found each other. But it's like they
and that all relates somehow to the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yes.
The dolls, like I had to go stand in line to get my daughter a doll years and years ago in the 80s, right? But it was like, where did this come from? And there are old postcards in existence that say Cabbage Patch children.
Yes, they do.
Were they grown someplace? They had incubator babies. I think it was at the New York World's Fair. Yeah. Incubator babies, right? And a couple of them. And the doctors and the nurses were standing there, and these little infants are in there. There's no parents standing around. I mean, now if a baby is sick, they'll be in an incubator, obviously in a NICU or something, but they have parents, right? Supposedly
Right.
they have
Right.
parents.
These
But who
didn't.
are these
There were rows
babies?
and rows of them at the state
Where did
fair,
they come from?
World's
Where
Fair.
did
I
they
mean,
come from?
yeah,
You
where
know?
did they come from? And all about the same age.
Yeah, I think that, there's been so much stuff going on behind the scenes. The little bits of things that are disclosed to us, whether it's through a movie star or a rapper or something on YouTube, I think that if they're disclosing that information, there's so much that's not being disclosed. It's like the little things that we do know, it makes us see how much we really don't know, how much is still not being revealed to us. If they have been cloning, I think it's been going on for decades, maybe 100 years, who knows? We have no idea. But I think that they've screwed around with DNA and done all kinds of stuff. I think it comes into, brings up cryptids. What is Bigfoot? And what's Dogman and Mothman down in Virginia? Who are these creatures? I believe in them. I think they really do exist.
Well, the Montauk Monster that washed up on the shores there. That was obviously some type of chimera because it had like the body of one kind of animal and then it had a beak.
Yeah.
It kind of was like a griffin on a pig body and it had cloven hoof.
Yeah.
In front. Anyway, but it was like a monster. It was like taking bits and pieces of this, putting it all together.
A lot of the statues that are around some of the Tartarian buildings, not just in this country, in India and all over the world, all different places, show these. If you really look at them and if you're watching a video, stop it and go in close, zoom in. Some of the statues, it's like a man, but he has the bottom half, he's got the cloven hoofs, he's got the legs of an animal. Or there's a lot of serpent stuff. So so the serpent, that's why I think this is just something I've kind of thought about. Well, we talked about it earlier. I think the Bible has been rewritten so many times that a lot of it's just bunk. There is probably some factual information in it, okay? But it's just been redone so many times. Books have been taken out. Other stuff has been put in. So it leaves you kind of like it leaves me iffy anyways. I don't know about that. But where was I going with this? Here we go.
But we can't look at it and rely on it as an actual history.
It's a historical thing. No, you can't. You can't rely on it as that. And a lot of people I understand do, and that's fine. Everybody has their own free will to do whatever they want, which is fine. But I think that a lot of the stuff that has been going on can go back that far, if it is that far back. Now, I just recently saw a picture this afternoon, that a video that somebody posted and said, look at this. This is an old 1920s or 1910 video from, I think it's in New York, and it shows trolley tracks, and it goes to this building, which is like the train station or something.
Yes,
and,
I saw that.
Oh, no, it was San Francisco. It was before the big earthquake. That's what it was. Did you see it? And the date on the building is like 893. Then it was supposedly destroyed by the earthquake like a matter of days later. But 893, not 1893, 893. And it looks like it's the 1800s. So did they, in fact, add 1,000 years to our timeline?
They possibly could.
So is this only 1026 instead of 2026? Could be. I don't know. I've seen, when I've done research in graveyards, I've seen gravestones, headstones that have the letter J and then like 793. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Explain to everybody what that is.
Well, I'm not sure.
Can you explain?
But I think it's the year, again, 793, not 1793. And the J, they say, is the time of Jesus. That's what they were saying. So if that's the case, then yes, they've added time on to our time. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason at Archaics, shout out to Jason. His work is absolutely just impeccable.
Phenomenal.
And he has went through the chronological years and got everything kind of pieced together. There was a huge mass censoring of books. One other thing that the wonderful Rothschilds and Rockefellers in this country did was they standardized education, and they determined what the curriculum is. Even the American Medical Association all of that sort of stuff is overseen by these same ruling families.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of this information, so that's how they, if you're wondering how did all this stuff get scrubbed, there's your answer. However, they didn't scrub a lot of the old books that were in prisons. And so when Jason was locked up, he was able to get a hold and access these books that had been destroyed on the outside world, but nobody bothered to come inside, these facilities and destroy that information.
Mm-hmm.
He has one whole room that's just nothing but books that are from the 16, 17,
That whole back wall and everything, and people still send him books and everything too.
Yeah,
I know.
right. And from the best, he has determined that there are, everything is in cycles, and that 138 years, every 138 years, there's some kind of cataclysm, but they go 1 through 5 in severity. We're up for one in the year 2040, and it's a level 4 or 5.
Wow.
But something happened around 1700 that it could have been a man-made event made to look like a natural event.
Right.
But when you take here in my area, I'm around St. Louis, and very close to the river. And they had an earthquake 100 years ago. And this earthquake was so violent that parts of the ground were liquefied. Liquefaction, I think they call it.
Yeah, liquefaction.
Swallowed up buildings.
Yeah.
And the Mississippi River ran backwards. And let me tell you, folks, if you've
I've
never
read
seen
about
the
that.
Mississippi River, it's huge and it is wide and it is massive. And if you're a sensitive at all, when you're on one of the 3 bridges crossing that thing, you can feel that river underneath you, like pull you down in your
energy.
Yeah, you can feel it. It's a powerful river. That thing ran backwards.
Wow.
That's how violent this earthquake was. So if you're wondering, how can this, that it's just fantasy, it's not fantasy. It is the ground literally swallows up whatever's on top of it in areas. Right. I'm finding sinkholes all over the place around here, just here in the last year and a half, where I live in my yard down here and where the woods are. And I'm getting a little worried about stuff because they're talking I'm right on that New Madrid fault, and I'm thinking it might be time to move soon. But
my goodness.
You've seen some buildings that have that are like they've fallen down. They didn't actually go all the way through, but they're like a story or two is now the basement, but it used to be like the first level.
Yeah.
In New England.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. So going back to like meltology, like out in like say the Grand Canyon, there's stuff that's melted. It looks like some of it is off limits. Regular people, we couldn't go out there, but there are pictures that there's like a sphinx, there's a pyramid, there's all kinds of stuff there that we're not supposed to see. You can see it was a building with archways, all these windows and stuff going all the way down, but we're not allowed to go there. Obviously, like we can't go to Antarctica either. We can't. There's places that we can't go to for whatever reason.
There's actually a no-fly zone over that area of the Grand Canyon. I mean, they're serious about this.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The helicopter rides. They had the guy from History Channel, Scott Wolter. He's that Minnesotan. He's a forensic geologist.
Yeah.
And he wanted to go there because of the rumored, artifacts and so forth that came out there from ancient Egypt. And so he hires this private helicopter, and they're like, "Oh no, this is a no-fly zone."
Oh wow!
They will have the fence on you. You can barely land. You wouldn't even have time to run.
Huh. So that's really, we'll say destroyed, melted stuff, whatever, however it was done, right? Well, in New England, we have a lot of buildings that are still intact, but I think the heat differential is different for different areas of the world. Like that's destroyed. Let's say Arizona, the Grand Canyon, all that's really melted down. In New England, only at the bottom of the buildings, you can see stuff is melted at that foundation. And, bricks are intertwined with melted rock and this and that. And then all of a sudden it stops and the rest is still brick that's intact. Some of it might be damaged, but it was heated, but it didn't melt like the bottom part of the buildings did. So we see a lot of evidence like that, not melted stuff like out in the Grand Canyon. You know what I'm saying? It's different parts of the world. Like over in the Middle East, there's a lot of stuff that's really melted. And why is all the fighting always going on over there, by the way? This tunnels and stuff underground, and what are they after? And there's rumors that there's some type of a portal there, and that's why everybody wants to go there. And there's always fighting that's been going on for decades and decades and decades. And who knows? Or giants? How about the giant of Kandahar? Oh, here we go for giants now.
Yeah, we're finally getting the scoop on that.
I believe that there are giants, and I believe that every time a farmer in the Midwest or wherever dug one up out in his fields, and they called the government, and they come in and they send it off to the Smithsonian, and all of a sudden it disappears.
And
it's just gone.
Yeah,
just gone.
Exactly.
Yep. I know. I don't know.
They have the newspaper clippings of the announcement of the find. Did you go back and go through? There was two brothers from up in your neck of the woods that even had a show on History Channel for a little while back in like 2013, 2014, in search of giants or something like that. And so they tracked some of these things down, and sure enough, every single one went to the Smithsonian,
and it's gone. Yeah,
and I've always wondered why cover up the giants? What's the big deal? They're talked about in the Bible. If you want to get biblical, all the way back. And the giants were supposed to be the progeny of the fallen angels, the watchers that came down and mated with human women.
Yeah,
and that was a no. And supposedly that is the reason for, or one of the reasons for the flood or whatever. But there's the David and Goliath. Goliath was a giant.
Right. That's what I mean. They feed us little bits and pieces, but I think there were lots of them. I think there were lots of giants around. And I think there was a point in time where giants and people our size got along. Not always, but I think it finally maybe evolved to that point. And then whoever decides the things that they decide finally said, we don't want any more giants. We'll just have these size people. Nobody bigger than 6 feet,
Yeah.
Like it's unusual now. There'll be a basketball player that comes out of Africa or someplace or wherever who's like 7'2". Where did he come from? Just something that's coming through the genes? Who knows? We don't know.
Christopher Columbus talked about some of the Native Americans when he came over here. The chiefs were very tall,
big,
and there I can't remember which book it is. Talked about when the Nephilim started to be persecuted. They came over to America to escape getting killed.
And the Indians knew they were there. They lived there, right?
The Indians, befriended them. And so then they often became the chief. I don't know if that was by election or
by size.
By size.
I'm the chief now. Yeah.
But there were some of them that were cannibals. There were some of them that were very naughty.
Cannibalistic.
And they would eat everything. And the Lovelock Cave story of the Native Americans, how they trapped them in that cave. Those skulls and bones have been recovered, and they do have a skull from that cave.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you look at this thing, they showed it on Ancient Aliens on an episode. When you look at it, at first it doesn't strike you that there's really anything weird about it. It's not the type that have the elongated skulls like they have down in South America. It just looks like, but then when you put it right next to a human skull, then you notice that there's a longer chin, and the bone is really dense and really thick, and the eye sockets are bigger, and the overall.
And don't some of them have double sets
rows of teeth? That's what I was just getting ready to say. Yes, they have double rows of teeth.
Yeah. All the better to chew you up with.
All the better.
Right?
And I wonder, some of the fairy tales we had, like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah. They're all based on something. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is few and far between, but cases still today of giantism, I think they call it. As some of the people of Tartaria were rumored to be giants. Have you run across any of that in your research?
Yeah, they were. Some of them were, because they all had the same garb. They all wore those kind of like turban type things in some of the pictures, and like a long garb that was belted, and they had a big sword hanging down this side, some of them. And they were like 5-6 times bigger than a normal size, what we call normal size human. Yeah.
Right.
But it looked like they got along. They weren't like mean or anything,
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe they did survive the flood, the supposed flood, and they were just the results of some that, went on.
So. There's even a passage in the Bible that said that there were giants in those days and after
the flood too.
You're right. Well, one of Noah's grandchildren, actually, they thought they had eradicated it all, but one of his son's wives came from a village, and she was like a half breed or something like that, but didn't
Yeah.
show any outward physical traits of that. But the child did.
The child did, right.
And it was brought to his attention. They're like, he was, the leader of the family. They're like, what are we going to do with this?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's some interesting stuff. That would be, I don't know. I tell you, the whole bit of the fallen angels has always fascinated me. And there's the whole opening of the can of worms of, are angels ETs?
Right.
Misidentified, or are they two separate things?
Or are they from another dimension? Or what are they? Who knows?
Yeah, right. And are they really benevolent? I was brought up believing in a guardian angel, and so
I was brought up that way too. Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
And I talked to my guardian angel, and I really came to be very devotional.
I think sometimes my guardian angel goes, "Oh, geez, what's she doing now?"
Well, I think I'm going to play my 7th or 8th one because the others resigned.
Yeah, we get new ones as we need them.
The other ones are all in AA classes. I couldn't handle it. Give me some wine. She's too much. Yeah. Archangel Michael has always been one of my go-tos for protection.
Who is?
Archangel Michael.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah.
And because he was Joan of Arc's go-to person. But, I can see where in some cases the alien thing, the flip-flop of that would work. But I tend to believe they're two separate things, angels and ETs.
Yeah, because, okay, what do you think when you pray? Do you think those prayers just go unheard, or do you think somebody's actually listening?
Oh, somebody's
listening.
Somebody's listening. Somebody's taking that energy. Somebody is.
Yeah, somebody is. But I also believe that we can heal ourselves also. I think we have that innate power to do that. A lot of the things that we can do, whether it's mediumship, healing, all kinds of things like that, I think the previous realm had the ability to do those things, whether it was themselves or they needed help with the bells or the cymatics and the cathedrals and all that stuff. I think it all worked together. I like to think it all worked together. All right. And everybody had that ability to do that. I think every one of us has the ability to connect with the other side. I really believe that, but you have to bring it out because it's latent within all of us now. The people that we are here now, this generation that's here now, it's latent. It's in there, but it has to be brought out. I mean, everybody has intuition. How many times will you say, "Oh, I was just thinking of my friend Sally," and all of a sudden the phone rings and there's Sally on the phone.
Sally.
That's intuition. Those are all things that we can work on and build on to make it stronger, to make it more connected for us. Yeah.
And that junk DNA, I think our DNA has a lot to do with the sun, or the sun has a lot to do with our DNA, as far as these kind of upgrades and downloads that we get. And what the, genetics is called junk DNA. I don't think that's junk at all. And I think more and more of that is starting to come online.
Well, they want us to avoid the sun. So they started manufacturing sunglasses. I don't know when. They started making sunglasses. They said, "Oh, the sun's not good for your eyes and it's bad for you. And you got to slither on all this sunscreen all the time if you go outside." Well, no wonder nobody has enough vitamin D3 or vitamin C. You got to go outside and get some sun, right? Well, I think that, I don't know. I think that's another control issue. That's just my opinion. We need the sun. Okay. There is something that I started to look into once, and then I didn't write down the site that I was getting the information from. I could Google it, I suppose, if I really wanted to, but I'm always watching all these other things too. That at a certain time in the morning, early morning sun, you're supposed to be able to go outside and meditate.
Sun gazing.
Sun
gazing.
Yeah, sun gazing, and look up at the sun, and it doesn't hurt your eyes.
Right.
It doesn't hurt you. Now that's something else. Doesn't that make you wonder about what was really going on during the last full eclipse that we had here, a year or two ago? Do you think something else was going on behind the scenes, but they tell us, "Oh, you can't look at that. You're going to go blind if you do."
Yeah. And here in this area, we were almost in the path of totality. We were like 3 degrees off of it. They started chemtrails at 6 a.m. and they had this whole place just fogged. It was ridiculous. They were going right over my house.
Terrible.
I was out on the deck giving him the finger. Yeah, it was ridiculous. And yeah, there's something going on there. Definitely.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
they're trying to poison us in every way possible. And
I
gosh
know.
darn it, we just keep being resilient and coming back and living on.
Exactly.
They got the
Exactly.
air poison, they got the water fluoride in the water,
Oh,
they
it's
got
awful.
fake
It's
meat,
awful.
all these pills and drugs and big
Yeah,
pharma. Oh, it just goes
it's
on and on.
terrible.
You don't
It's
even know what's
terrible.
safe to eat anymore. You
No,
know,
no, you don't. And you think I'm going to eat all vegetables and a lot of salads and that, but they've got pesticides all
they
over
got
them. You
pesticides
watch
on
the
it.
food out
Yeah,
of them. I know. I know.
and,
I know.
and I love the fact that you can take your water though, and you can bless your water and
Yes,
give it some love and some
definitely.
gratitude, or just taping the word love to a glass of water.
Exactly. Just like there's
Amazing.
been a lot of stuff. They show some of the videos, you've seen them too, where
Mhm.
somebody will say to their water in like a glass and say, "Oh, I love you so much," and then they pour it in the freezer and let it freeze. And I love you so much and let it freeze, and it comes out with a beautiful, beautiful, almost like a snowflake design in it. It's beautiful. Then they'll take another glass of water and say, "I hate you. I think you're rotten," and you say really bad stuff to it. The same thing, put it in a dish or whatever and put it in the freezer, and it comes out all screwed up.
Caramel looking
So it's
awesome.
just like they tell you talk to your plants. It's the same thing, or to your pets. Oh, here's Nellie. Nellie's lying over here on the bed. Hi,
Oh,
Nellie.
good. Let's
Yeah,
see her.
yeah. She's right there. I don't know if you can see her or not.
Yeah,
Wait, there's Nellie. Right
that's
there.
better. Hi,
Yeah.
Nellie.
Hey.
That's sweet. Cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. They took
Under bed. That's why she's sleeping.
they took
Yeah,
lots
but I
of
mean, words are things. People don't realize that words are things. When you say something very hurtful or raunchy to somebody, isn't just going to blow off of them and they're going to forget about it. It does something to someone. Everybody needs to be kind in their words and stuff. I mean, yes, little kids, if you're a mother and kids are acting up and you scream and yell at them, after a while, if you scream and yell enough, they're not even going to listen to you.
it just
You
goes
have
away.
to sit them down and reason with them, I think. That's my opinion.
The thing of
But
sticks and stones can break my bones, but
yeah,
words can never hurt me. That's not true.
no, it's not true. Somebody made that
At
up
all.
too. Somebody made that up too. That's another lie because words do hurt. Yeah, they do. They really do.
Words cast spells.
Yes,
Isn't that why we call it spelling?
that's right.
When I saw that on the video, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. And there's a numerologist guy, Gary, the numbers guy. He goes by GG33
Yeah.
here on YouTube. Fascinating, funny as hell. He was talking. I just watched a 2-hour interview with him, and he was talking about how the English language paired with numerology is undeniable. And how, like, the traits of, say, let's say your life path number is a 3. Threes are good at communicating. They're the entertainer. They're outgoing. They're creative. They're fun, lively, all this kind of stuff. And he was talking about how the third letter being C, how that somehow works in with the. I can't even.
It's a science. You got to really
I have to
study it.
revisit that to get it straight. But it's fascinating. But it all. Yeah. And I think of all of them. There's Chinese astrology, and there's Western astrology, but numerology is global and it doesn't change. And I think it's the most accurate, probably, of all of the divination arts.
Yeah, I like
But,
to watch
there was a
stuff
point.
about it. I don't know how to do it myself. I really would like to learn more about it because it is fascinating. The stuff that they come out with, it's like,
Oh yeah,
absolutely
your name.
right.
Your name. There's a great website. I'll think of it here in a minute, and I'll put it in the chat too. That you can go have your name analyzed, and they say, okay, if your name isn't balanced, you can.
Oh, that's what I know.
problem.
Somebody that added another E on the end of her name.
Yes.
Her name is
That's
Carol, and she has 2 E's on Carol now. And I thought, oh, that's odd. But
Yeah.
she did it for a reason like that.
Because you break down the numbers by the letters, and so you just keep going 1 through 26, and then go A, B, C, D. That's your ledger, okay, and then write out your name, and then figure out what each part of your name adds up to.
Oh, wow.
And so there's sometimes conflicting numbers. There's feminine numbers. There's masculine numbers, and like the birth name I was given is really messed up. It's 3 It's Robin, Renee, and Kirk, and they're all men's first names.
Oh,
Can
wow.
you tell my parents wanted a boy, but they ended up adopting a girl instead? So, and they even spelled it the masculine way.
Oh
And
my
so,
goodness.
oh, and Kirk is also the same word for church in Scottish. So I mean, everything's like in this box. And I'm a creative
Yeah.
child, and I was constantly frustrated. And that's when I changed my name to Raven, and it
Oh,
made all
wow.
the difference. And I took my mom's maiden name, McMinn, and that, I mean, it literally is like something overnight that can
No
just change
kidding.
your, because
Wow.
that vibration,
Yeah.
everything comes down, like Nikola Tesla said, to
Yeah.
frequency, vibration, and
Everything's vibration, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even
Yeah.
the table's vibrating, but at a very low frequency, a low vibration. We, on the other hand, are higher. And then up here in the ether is even higher, you know?
Mhm.
So it's just amazing.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is amazing. And the fact that bells can
Yeah.
heal the body and so forth. Another thing that was Tartarian architecture are these towers. And there's really a grid system that was more so in Western Russia and Eastern Europe. Ever so often, there would be these just real skinny towers, kind of like an obelisk, but
Mhm.
different. And there'd be nothing inside them. And the locals talked about how they missed them because before they had air conditioning in the summertime, it'd be so humid, they could go and sleep outside around these towers. And these towers are real skinny too. They're not really
Yeah.
big at all. Because it would be 10 degrees cooler all around them all the time, all the
Wow.
time. And the storms would not be so harsh. And they were
Oh.
able to grow all kinds of different crops. So then when the Stalin regime came in and started to tear them down, then they started to have tornadoes and really
Oh.
heavy weather, and the crops failed 1 year completely. And a lot of towns dried up because they tore these things down. And
Wow.
like, that's a technology we haven't really recouped yet, I don't think.
Oh, but now we have weather control.
Yeah, but we do have weather control. Yeah.
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 I know.
And now that they can make earthquakes, that's the stuff that whistleblower was talking about from Antarctica.
Yeah.
He was a maintenance guy. I can't think of his name. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
He went on what's his name? Oh gosh, I can see his face. I'm terrible with names today. Not
I
Joe
have those
Rogan. Who's
moments.
the other guy?
Those are called senior moments. I have those a lot.
I hate that when it happens, especially when I'm on air. Okay, not Joe Rogan, but who's the other guy that was a military guy? Has a round head like Joe Rogan. Come on. Oh, somebody help me out in the chat.
Sure.
I know you know who somebody's got to know who I'm talking about. Anyway, he went on his show and talked about how
Justin?
he was the maintenance guy down there, and he seen, huh?
Somebody said Justin, but no, he was saying hi to somebody.
Let me see. Oh no. I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, they've got one of those energy weapons and one of those death ray things that
Wow.
Tesla. They took Tesla's papers, about all that.
Now, all
right?
his stuff was confiscated by the government after he died. He died an old man, and they just took everything that he had in his place, in his apartment or whatever it was, a house, whatever. They just took everything, and somebody's working with it.
Sean Ryan, that's it. The Sean Ryan show.
Oh no, I'm going to write it down. I never heard of it before.
Yeah.
There's so many things, so different, many shows and stuff, and
so this whistleblower down in Antarctica witnessed this stuff, and is here to say, wanting everyone to know that he there's some dangerous stuff. See, they're not under any type of sanctions or laws, and there's 66 countries that occupy or have a place there in Antarctica, and there's really no government. There's no oversight. They pretty much get to do whatever they want. It's kind of a wild west free for all down there. And I'm sorry, penguins are just not that interesting. I don't believe for a minute they're all down there to study the mating habits of penguins or whatever.
Why would all these countries all over the world agree to sign some type of a special treaty or something that none of us can go to Antarctica? Why is that?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Yeah. because they can do all kinds of experiments that would be illegal as hell up here, and to
Right.
keep things secret because you can't step foot on that island without permission from one of those countries.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, and why all of a sudden did the Pope go down there? And this was a couple
Buzz
years.
Aldrin. Didn't Buzz Aldrin go down there?
Yes,
He
yes, and
got a
he
heart attack or something when he was coming
yes,
out of it. Yeah,
yes,
whatever it is that he saw, he just, you know.
gave him a heart attack.
Yeah.
Right. So, what do you think about the moon thing? About speaking of Buzz Aldrin?
Speaking of Buzz, yeah.
Yeah. What do you
Well,
think of all that stuff?
I think that it's a hoax. I don't think they went to the moon. I think it's a hoax. I think they'd like to go to the moon, but I don't think they did. I don't know. I used to follow a man that since has passed away, John Lear. You must
Oh
have
yeah.
heard of Lear. His father invented the Learjet. I followed him for a number of years, and he got into a lot of stuff about aliens, and a lot of people interviewed him. And shortly before he passed away, he was saying that the Van Allen belt that surrounds this planet, the Earth, there's no way, because of the extensive radiation, there's no way anything can get through that without burning up, without burning to a crisp.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If that's the truth on that, then they couldn't have gone to the moon. They couldn't have gone through it. Now, that brings up, unless they've learned how to, like beam me up, Scotty, like transport some other way, but they don't want us to know what it is. In other words, it's a different way that you can actually relocate, even to Mars. I mean, that also brings up the topic of the whistleblowers that talked about the 20 and back thing.
20 and back. I was just thinking
20 and back. These
Mhm.
guys in the military said that they worked on Mars for 20 years. They agreed to the thing that the government was offering them, the military, that we want you to go to Mars for 20 years and you're going to be doing this, and this there. You're going to be working around other types of beings that don't look like us, but we have an agreement with them because we're mining something there. Now, what are they mining? Is it gold? Is it what? Whatever they're, I call it copper. I don't know, but they're mining something there. So they agreed to go for 20 years. And some of them got in trouble. They got in fights. They got shot. They were almost dead. So they transport them back here. Now, are they transporting them like time travel transporting? Could be, right? They bring them back here. And a couple of the whistleblowers said their bodies were such in bad shape that they made a clone of them. They had their DNA already. They made a clone of them and put them, their soul, or whatever, into the new body. And they were okay. But because it occurred the way that it did, I think it's a type of time travel, because when they go back home, they haven't been gone for 20 years. Their family thinks they've been gone for like 6 months in the military, that's all, or a year or something like that.
How does that even?
So how is that possible?
How is that possible? I know.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's one of those mind bogglers.
Yeah.
I really can't even wrap my head around how that
Not me either. It's crazy.
Work. But the cloning thing, you had mentioned Carrie Cassidy. I've been following and watching Carrie Cassidy for years also. There's a clip of her interviewing some dude from the military. He's from the military industrial complex.
Oh, I know who he is. The bald-headed guy.
Yeah, he's kind of bald.
The ET, and he took care of him. He took care of the ET that they had captured. And
I know who you're thinking of. No, this is a different guy.
Oh, okay.
I know who you're talking about. And I am terrible with names today.
That's all right. Must be something misaligned someplace. All right.
There's some days. Oh man, I tell you, I just can't do it. Anyway, he was talking about the cloning and said to her that they had perfected cloning in the early 50s.
I think it was before then even. I do.
I think so too. Because where
did all those
Orphan
babies
Trains
come from before? Yeah, I I think so.
Where do they come from?
And then
and
the
video
planets.
clip. I'm going to post this after the show, guys. Go ahead.
So listen. So
Go ahead.
Okay, what do you think about the flat Earth? You think the Earth is flat or round?
I think it's round, but
Well, I thought it was round until a few years ago.
being in an
the
airplane,
more-
you've been in an airplane, haven't you? I mean, you see the curvature
several times, yeah.
How can it be?
I don't see anything round when I fly. The last time I flew was last fall, and I didn't see anything round. I took pictures when I was in the airplane. Everything is straight across. There was nothing, indicating that it's round. Um, I think that I think I sent you a picture of one of the old maps, didn't I? That
Mhm.
shows the
Yeah.
ice wall around our
Yeah.
Earth. Okay, so there's an ice wall. So it's round. It's in a round shape this way, around, flat like this. And there's the ice wall. But on the other side of that ice wall, there are other lands. Now, one might be called Mars. One might be called Saturn. I'm just throwing names out, like the names of planets.
Yeah.
So to get to those other worlds, that's the outer space. It's a flat, the whole thing is flat. That's the outer lands, the outer space. And I think they tell us the planet names to keep us interested in it. But I really think all those other worlds around here are the other plane. I'm going to call them planets because I think it's flat.
Mm-hmm. It could be. We have been so
We don't know, right? We don't know. We don't have any solid proof
about so much. It's possible. It's possible. I got to do some more research into it. At first, I laughed it off a couple of years ago. I did a show on it, and I just thought it was ridiculous. But then I keep an open mind, and so as other things would come and show up in my inbox on YouTube, I'd give it a listen, and it's like there are a few things that are unexplainable. That really, and some pictures, some video footage that I now got me scratching my head. I don't know, but it's possible. And how, like, well, the Vikings talk about, the world tree, Yggdrasil, and all these different land pieces were Midgard and Valhalla, not Valhalla is the name of the hall, but what am I thinking about? Where the Asir live and so forth. There's all these like different, and at first I thought maybe those are dimensions, but those actually could be when that map that you sent.
Could be some of those outer lands
and some of those other ones that they named. Yeah.
Plus, what do you think? Do you think there's inner Earth too?
Oh yeah,
I definitely think there is.
Oh, I definitely think that. Yeah, there's enough different.
And I think there's elementals, and I think some of them do live underground.
Yes,
I have one. My experience in the woods 2 Augusts ago, I encountered something, and I don't think I was supposed to see it. And
do tell.
I did get a 16-second video.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you, it scared the shit out of me, and I didn't go back to the woods for almost 7 months.
Really.
But then when I did, and I thought about it, I got up one morning, I said to my husband, Marty, I said, I'm going back to that small quarry in the woods up in Pelham. And he goes, for what? I said, I'm going to bring a couple of pears and a couple of apples. I just got this notion at that point. It took me 7 months. I said, I'm going to go take these as like a peace offering. So whatever I saw that scared me and made me leave, I had to leave because I had a sense of doom that if I didn't, I was probably going to be dead. It was a terrible feeling. I never want to feel it again. But so I took it was wintertime too. When I went back, I took the pears and the apples and I did a little video and I spoke out loud on it. And I said, whoever you are, and whatever it is that I saw, I don't think I was supposed to see. Maybe it was an interdimensional thing, but I saw it. I was tuned in. So I said, I'm leaving these as a peace offering for you. All I was doing was taking pictures of a brick wall across the little quarry. I said, I was just taking pictures. I didn't harm anything. I didn't take anything out of here. I said, I just was taking photographs. So I'm leaving these pears and apples for you. You can have them. And if you don't want them, I'm sure a raccoon will like them or a deer. So thank you very much. And I left. I've been back since and everything was fine.
What did you see? Can you describe it?
Oh, well, what I saw, I've looked up online to see what it was called. It was a type of an elemental, or it was something called a pan, because it was a little creature. He was a tan color, tannish brown color, had a very wrinkly face and looked mad and like grinchy, and he had horns. He had horns. And I looked at it the once as I'm taking the video. When I saw it, I just went, oh, I just knew. I said, I got to get out of here. The little voice inside that says, move it. Yep. Well, I listened and I had to leave. But I got to print some still pictures from my video. So I did print some still pictures of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I could show them to you. Not right now, but maybe next time if I'm on again, I can show them. Yeah.
I've got a lot of elemental energy here. In fact, that's what attracted me to this place to begin with. Yeah. And right at the same time that I was looking for a place to move to here, I had 3 different psychics that don't know each other, not even all in the same state, tell me that I had a fairy spirit guide. Just
Really?
randomly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just walked into a bookstore and there was this lady struggling with the door. She was carrying some back and I held the door open for her and helped her to her car. And she introduced herself to me and said, I'm a psychic and you have a fairy spirit guide. You're probably all aware
Um,
of that already, aren't you? And I said, no, I didn't know it was a fairy. And so I get to this place, and this place is covered in rowan trees, which are a fairy tree.
mhm.
And this fairy energy just attracted me to this place
Oh.
anyway. And this is it's one of the most dysfunctional places I've ever lived, as far as just everything breaking and weird shit happening. But it's never total destruction. I have had so many near miss fires, so many near miss.
Are you on a ley line or something? Do you know if you're on
I
like one of
think
the ley?
so. And I made
Oh.
a hinge. There was a clearing in the woods down here, just right down from the house, and
Yeah.
it was in a circle. And somebody dropped off an oak tree that they had felled, and I made a hinge out of it out
Mhm.
there. So then, as I'm doing this and constructing it, this blue mist shows up, and I've got pictures of this. It's the weirdest shit I've ever
Oh
seen. You
my
can't see it with
goodness.
your naked eye, but you could see it in the phone. So I took these pictures, and there's this blue mist about 3 feet off the ground, just coming around and getting thicker and thicker and thicker. And I started to get a little freaked out.
Yeah.
And there's pictures of all these orbs,
I
and
would
I've
too.
never seen like green, yellow, pink before shooting through the frame. And
Wow.
I left. I came in the house. I had,
Yeah, because it can be overwhelming. It's scary. I mean,
because there's
And
stories
isn't
all
it
over.
funny though that the camera picks it up, but we can't see it?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really strange. I've gotten a lot of orbs and pictures and stuff, and used my trail cam. I'm in my bedroom tonight on the show. This is my bedroom. I had one cat one time that we think she used to pee on the rug. We weren't sure. This is a few years ago. So I put my trail cam on the floor, and I didn't get I didn't catch the cat doing anything she wasn't supposed to do, but I had all these orbs in the room in the middle of the night. And I even had one that was like, it looked like a handkerchief flowing like this down.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, oh my God,
Wow.
what are these people doing in this bedroom? What's going on? I think it's just spirit energy that remains on this realm, even though they've gone to the next one. That's what
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Probably
think
my
it's really
parents, they
cool.
both were here before. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've gotten some weird pictures from around here, and sometimes I'll look down there and I'll see like
I have a picture of a fairy in my backyard at my old house. I've been in this house now for 3 years. This was my mom's house. She passed 4 years ago, and then we fixed it up a little and moved in. It's on a small lake. I love it. It's just, I grew up here as a kid. It was a camp then, right? Well, at my old house, the old farmhouse, we had I had chicken coops down the back, right? So we had coyotes come through the yard at night, foxes, possum, a mama possum with all the babies on her back. So I caught all these things on my trail cam. Well, one day I'm looking at the possum, and she has the babies with her on her back. And I looked in the picture, and in the background is a round circle with all white all over it, like all around, like foggy white. This is in the picture. I did a still picture of it. And then in the very next picture, because, it would like film for 10 seconds and then skip and then another 10 seconds. And the next one, there's this little thing with 2 sets of wings flying through the thing above the possum. My fairy. I've shown it at a couple of the paranormal classes that I've taught up at the Spiritualist Church. I've showed those. I've had paranormal nights once a month in the summer months. I don't want to travel there in the winter. But it's just really interesting how many people are all interested in that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
Anything to do with
I
the
believe in that.
elementals. Yeah,
And
me too.
I just had somebody send me a video of this last week about a guy remembering being in grade school and stepping on one.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think he killed it. I think it was already dead, but it was in the bottom of his shoe. He didn't even know it. And a classmate says, "Hey, dude, you got a fairy stuck on the bottom of your shoe." Like,
Oh,
what? And he remembers this and was talking about then he later finds out that the fairy, his grandfather credits a fairy was saving him from a World War II plane crash and some stuff. And yeah, it's a fascinating little story. And I'm going to try to get him on the show and interview him. It's really interesting.
Nice.
But yeah, I've always believed in them. And I can see one of the other psychic ladies says, "Oh yeah, your little streak of mischief you get,
Yeah.
like, yeah, because I can do some really pranks on my mother all the time because we didn't get along. And I would do these terrible little things, harmless, but she said, that's who prompts you and gives you those ideas. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool. Because I can have a really wicked sense of humor. That's not all my fault. But yeah, elementals are really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
The puckwudgie. I didn't know what a puckwudgie was until I watched Paranormal State. They're up there in New England.
Yeah. I just bought a book written by a guy who moved from the UK to the United States with his partner. He lives here now. I think it's Vermont and New York. I'm not sure. But I went to a paranormal, like a seminar a few months ago, and I bought his book. Because like I said, I buy a book, I read 2 or 3 chapters, and I put it down. Only because I just get busy doing other stuff, other research, right? But I have the book, and I did read the thing on puckwudgies, and one of them was about a fairy. Well, I don't know if it was a puckwudgie or a fairy, but it is definitely New England. And she lives in a lake in Derry, New Hampshire, and her name was Shenetto. It's spelled T-S-I, Shenetto, N-E-T-T-O. And at first I thought it was like a joke, but one day when I was driving up through Derry, on the side there's a road called Shenetto Road, so it's like the town of Derry actually named a road after this fairy. I just thought it was so cool. And he writes about it. He writes about it in the book. Yeah. So it was kind of cool. So he writes about a lot of research stuff that he's done like that. A lot down by Cape Cod, all down in that way in Massachusetts. It was just really interesting. So.
There's an Indian tribe up there in New England that they think they were calling them a fairy, but
Abenakis, no.
It was actually like the small little gray aliens.
Oh, really?
Saying that they were fairies, and I'm like, oh, I don't think they're probably fairy, but there's all kinds of different. I mean, look at all the different shapes and sizes of humans there are.
Yeah.
Those that are really human, that is, and not aliens in disguise, right?
Right. Yeah, you've seen the cartoons of an alien stepping into a human costume to put on, right?
Yeah.
There's one that there's an alien ironing it, and she's going to get ready to put it on for the day. Well, that was another thing. I have other pictures, and I promise I'll get them out for the next time, maybe. I was coming back from Philadelphia. I'd gone someplace, a convention or something, and I'm coming back from Philadelphia, and I had a layover. And I'm in the airport, and I just have one suitcase with me. I always try to travel light, so it's easy. You don't have to check it and all that. And there's this guy kept walking around. He had no laptop with him. He had no phone with him, but he had on, some type of an ear thing. He was talking to somebody. And I kept looking at him and thinking, wow, his eyes are really weird. His eyes were so white and so big, and it didn't fit in with the rest of his body. And he would go over to this table that he had a charging station, like to charge your laptop or your phone, but he had nothing with him. But he would go there and lean on it and just lean on it.
Oh, weird.
Charging up. I don't know. And then he'd walk away and be gone. Now, I was there for a couple of hours, the layover, right? So I kept watching him. So then they called our flight, and the terminal I was at the very end of this building. There was nothing beyond it. We were at the last gate, right?
Right.
And there's no other door to go out, only to go get on the plane or to exit the plane. So I watched him. So they called, they do the first section, then the second section, third section. So he got up and he got in line. He has no suitcase with him or nothing. So I'm watching him to see where he goes. Now he's ahead of me. And as I'm watching him, they open the gate. The guy's gone. He disappeared. I have no idea where he went. But I have his picture and how his eyes looked, because his eyes just looked so freaky to me. It didn't look human.
Wow.
Was he a clone? Was he some type of a robot? I mean, these robots are so refined. I see the ones that they show like in Japan and stuff. Oh my God, they look like real people. So who knows? This was like 4 or 5 years ago.
And like that movie Avatar, they're claiming that like the 20 back program is basically the same thing as being put back into an avatar and cloning and stuff. If they've got that technology, I would have no doubt that that's going on. And they're just taking, there's also the concept of the wanderer and the walk-in.
A walk-in. Oh, yeah.
Your consciousness leaves that body. And so that this soul wanting to come in, this ET soul, rather than have to waste 20 years learning how to
Mm.
walk and read and go to college and all that shit, just takes
Yeah.
over. Yeah, that's a whole. When I first learned of that concept, I was really freaked out.
Yeah, I read about that a long, long time ago. I forget who it was that wrote the book.
Ruth Montgomery.
Ruth Montgomery, that's it. Yeah, yeah. And she wrote another one, Strangers Among Us. Was it in that book she mentions that I forget? Strangers Among Us. I just came across it. I've had the book forever. I mean, it's like 2 maiden names ago. You know what I mean? 2 married names ago. And yeah, it's just all interesting. I love that stuff. I've always been interested in stuff like that. Always, always, always.
I think there's quite a few of them that have just kind of either slipped in or I think the good ones are the ones that are benevolent will go to the trouble of doing a conscious exchange rather than
I think they have to have some type of a contract made. In other words, like ahead of time that, I'll be here doing this until this, and then you can take over. You can take over.
The evil, nefarious ones, I think, are the ones that jump people and kind of kick them out or kick them to the back seat and take over the driver's seat, or they just shove their way in.
Yeah.
Or it's a clone. That's one thing I've always worried about this AI. We know that ghosts and spirits can manipulate electricity and so forth.
Right.
What's stopping something nefarious from taking over the AI and then infecting every computer and every robot and everything?
Right.
And we got Terminator on our hands then, Terminator scared me to death. It scared me worse than
that's a freaky movie. It really is. It's
And nowadays it's so plausible, that we could be looking at something like that in 5 years or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. AI is, I know it's here to say there's no way that we're going to
I know. Well, we've been Googling everything for the last 5 or 10 years. Oh, ask Google. That's AI. That's all AI too.
True.
But where does the AI stuff come from? Somebody has to feed it into the system to do it. A lot of it is the scientists and the big shots and everybody else feeding the information, and even regular people. That stuff all gets conglomerated and put together, right? But somebody is controlling it all. We know that. Then another thing is we talked about this this morning. The cameras. Now, I live in the country. They put a camera at the end of the street that's down the street that I live on. It's down at the end on the telephone pole there. What do they think is going to happen?
You might be the next Unabomber. You never know. You might totally lose your shit and go crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just crazy, though. But I know a cop, and I asked him. I've known him for years. We grew up together. But I said to him, hey, the camera they put down the end of the street down there in Palin Street? He says, oh, they're every place. And I said, so do you guys monitor that at the police station in Methuen? And he said, no. I said, well, who's watching it? Where is it all going? He said, it's recording. And where's it going? He goes, I don't know. It might be the state. I think more it's like the deep state, but I don't know. Where is it going? I don't know.
What do they want with that?
I don't know.
Well, that's what I always wonder. Why do they want my emails? Why do they? And they keep building all these, centers to store all this memory of all this stuff that we do, all of our cell phone calls, and why? What, and then when I heard about how China's got the credit system, the citizen credit system, or whatever what is that called? The
digital.
Well, first of all, your carbon blueprint, carbon footprint, and your citizens' digital ID. If you say something bad about the government, they cut off your card. You don't eat.
Yeah, they don't give you the money to eat. You can't do this. You can't pay your rent.
That bad. Yeah, I honestly, at first I didn't believe it until I watched a Joe Rogan interview with somebody that is her family's still back in China. She went to visit. She said a few disparaging things, a private conversation. They were being listened to through their cell phones.
Yeah.
Government cut off her car. She couldn't even get a taxi to go back home to her parents' house. Couldn't buy any food.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing. So her cousin says, here, just use my card. Well, they found that out and cut that card off too.
Oh.
And then punished the cousin.
Awful.
I'm like,
terrible.
And they want to implement that here? Oh, hell no.
Why do they have to control us that much? And who are they? That's what we want to know. Who are these people?
So
they are people.
David Icke. And David Icke talks about how
I like him.
It's a non-human
reptilian.
The spider in the middle. and there's all these, organizations going on out, each one is very compartmentalized, of
Yeah.
course. And as you get a little bit closer, and the Vatican, the WEF, they're all part of it. You can get a little bit, but I think it is a non-human.
Yeah.
Because who? And we've got all of these, crazy elites running around that are running around possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the royal family, the reptilians. I thought that was totally absurd the first time I heard that. Second time I heard that, I still thought it was absurd. But then I saw some video footage.
Look into it some more. Yeah.
I looked into it some more, and it's like, oh yeah, that's why the royals were always so obsessed throughout history of intermarrying and interbreeding, because they wanted to keep that bloodline as pure as possible and have as much.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. Because it never really made sense to me, all these arranged marriages, and they were so strict about it.
Yeah.
And even when Princess Di was dating Prince Charles, they had to do her whole family lineage and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I just, wow. Yeah.
I know.
So, yeah, the reptilian thing is not so far-fetched. And
no, it isn't.
At all. And I don't think it's even them. I think they're like pretty close to the center. But I don't think
they're not the middle. Right. It's somebody else or something else. Yeah.
Because even the Illuminati families are not out there on Front Street. They're in the shadows. And a lot of people don't even know their names because they're not flashy. They're very private, but they pull the strings, and they're the masters over the Rothschilds and the what's the other R group? Names in me tonight are not
the Rothschilds. I got it. What is the other name? I can't even.
Rockefeller.
Rockefeller's the 2 R's.
Yeah, they're the puppets of those people. They're not even at the top.
Right.
So what do you do?
The controllers. Yeah.
Just try to keep a sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they know we're talking. They know we're on the show tonight. You know what I mean? Everything's being watched. You think you hide stuff. Nobody can hide anything. I remember one time reading years and years ago about when they started launching all the satellites and everything. All right. A satellite's going to be able to see a thin dime. It'll go right through ceilings and walls and be able to see a thin dime on your floor in the living room. Mm-hmm. And we used to go like, what are they talking about? Well, it's happening now. They see everything we're doing through your TVs, your smart TVs, your phones, everything, through everything. They see everything we're doing. Even when you shut them off, they can still listen through them.
Yeah.
See through them.
I start putting these little like post-it notes over my camera,
Yeah, I've put tape over my camera before. Yeah. I know. I hear you.
I don't need anybody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole bit of it. So I think we've covered is there any part that we have not covered?
No, I think we did pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, we talked about the mud floods, the architecture. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to post the pictures, you guys, but I am going to put some things here under the video, and I want to put your links under there too, Patty, so that they can check out your YouTube channel and stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Facebook, and it's much easier to post and do a share screen thing on StreamYard than it is, Restream than it is StreamYard.
Yeah, I know you have to hit present, but the last time I was on a show like this, it's all changed. Just looking at what's on the screen now below our photos and stuff, it's all different than it used to be. Yeah. I don't know what half of it means.
Well, you'll have to come back and do a show about elementals with me sometime here in the spring, if you would.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Justin's telling me something here. I do a show with Justin on Mondays and Fridays here on YouTube. Don't shut the show off right away. After you end the stream, invite me into the green room. Okay, he'll give me a quick tech talk. Thank you.
That's
he was my tech guru. Thank you so much, Justin. Okay, no problem. Will do. And yes, welcome, Kitty Herbs. I've never seen you here.
That's my friend. That's my friend Dalla. Hi, Dalla. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Well, great. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And all of you, I want to remind everybody that they are made of stardust. Literally, you are. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, your teeth. So you're made of the exploding stars, and you have this beautiful divine spark in you. And please let that light shine, because right now this world needs your light. And don't hide it. Don't hide it. We Good will win in the end. I have faith that it will. And so don't get depressed at some of these topics like that we have covered tonight. Yeah, things are kind of messed up here on planet Earth, but we are going to persevere and all will be well. Keep your sense of humor about you and shine your light. Thank you so much for coming tonight. This is Raven's Rabbit Hole. We will see you again next Wednesday for another show. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you, Raven.
Thank you, Patty. Good
Yeah,
night.
thank you. Good night now. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye. Okay, there we go.